Hi girls, gals, and pals. You're listening to the first episode of A Bit of Chiptune. This episode is called Chips and Bits with Cass and Triss. We will be talking about chiptune in general, ourselves, and finally, the modern chiptune scene in 2018. This week's featured track is Nobody's Home, a cover of the song Passion by Hatsune Miku that Triss and I made together. If you want to be featured in this podcast and you don't know us, then shoot us an email at abitofchiptune@gmail.com. The tracks you hear in the background are all created by chiptune composers such as Triss and I. Thank you, Cosmic Gem, for sending me a loop of your Underchill track, Fallen Down. We also play original NES tracks from Super Mario and Pokemon Crystal. I know many of you are excited to hear this. I definitely am. So enjoy. Cass out.
Welcome to A Bit of Chiptune. We are Triss and...
Cass.
That was your cue
Cassidy.
to say your name.
Let's keep this in. I think we're at a good start.
Yeah, I think so too. Cool.
So, I'm Cassidy, you're Triss. Hello. How's your morning?
Not too bad. Nothing really has happened that much because I slept in.
Oh, wonderful. I kind of slept in, but we're in different time zones, so, you know. I also got to working on a thing. Do you know the, what's it called? The YouTube channel called, 8-Bit Music Theory?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, so there's a Discord for that. If you're not part of it, I can totally send it.
Oh,
and
yes, please do.
Yeah, they're having a contest right now, and I'm making a chiptune right now. It's like the theme of exploration, and I'm working with some random person that I got paired up with, and we're making a cool little tune, and it's actually coming out really nice. So that was my morning.
That's awesome. Is it like going to be featured on the channel, or?
Maybe. Let's find out.
Yeah, I mean, like, either way, that's cool, because, like, collaboration and chiptune are, like, two of the best things. But so is publicity.
Yeah. So, for those of you who are listening, it's so weird talking to, like, a third invisible person.
Yeah, you get used to it, I guess.
We're both musical artists, and we work in a genre or instrument, whatever you want to call it, called chiptune. And, I don't know, Triss, what's chiptune to you?
Oh, yeah, so, I'm kind of the camp that it's a very, like, broad, genre, I guess. A good place to start is, like, the etymology / definition of chiptune. Chiptune just refers to music that is, like, entirely or partially made using, like, the sound chips of typically, like, older gaming hardware. Cass and I, use, like, the chips from the, like, original Nintendo, the NES. But there are plenty of people who do stuff with, like, the Game Boy sound chip or, like, the Atari sound chip and, like, other stuff. So, like, I think chiptune is kind of like an umbrella term for any music that has those elements mixed in.
Yeah, I think I'd agree, especially you said you were approaching the etymology of it. The word chip is like, I don't know, like little chips of metal, specifically like alluding to those, I think, 80s, those old Mario that everybody knows, the bum 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 ba and the something that alludes to that, I guess specifically in music, because the second part tune. So I suppose when you really think about it, the word chiptune really encapsulates what it is, and a lot of people say like 8-bit music. I tend to stay away from that because that implies more specific things, and like people can get in firefights over it. I don't know.
Yeah, people are very like particular on the internet.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's important we define it because, as we like spoke about before, I like go up to my friends who apparently are going to listen to this, and they're like, "What's chiptune?"
Yeah, hi, Cass's friends.
So,
yeah, like I find that to be the case often too. Like people are like, "What's that?" And then like, yeah, I have to go on the spiel that I just went on, and like you kind of have to gauge in the moment like how much time you really want to spend on like explaining this concept to someone. But yeah, you also touched on something that I think is really interesting, like the distinction between like chiptune and 8-bit music, because like that's a whole like other topic of discussion, like the what we mean by 8-bit. We can definitely get into that at a later date if that comes up again. But like back when I first started my my YouTube channel, actually it's almost my channel birthday as we're recording this. I don't remember the exact date, but June is when I started it. Back in 2015.
Also, right after my channel birthday, I suppose, because I only first uploaded something the other day.
Yay, birthdays! Anyway, so when I first started uploading like videos / songs, like I would sort of advertise it as like 8-bit version or something like that, and like sometimes I would just decide to put chiptune instead. And so like a cousin of mine actually was like, "So what's the difference?" And I think it's kind of like you can kind of think of it as like a square rectangle situation. Like most 8-bit music is chiptune, but not all chiptune is 8-bit music.
Yeah. I have no idea what exactly 8-bit, like I'm sure it has to do with the exact hardware, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just like it's a computer thing. Like so like a bit, do you know what that means?
Conceptually.
Yeah, so I guess for our listeners, we can break it down a little bit of computer science for you. But yeah, so a bit is just like a 0 and 1 or a 1 in like binary. So binary it's like a number system that only has zeros and ones. So like if it's 0, it's a 0. If it's a 1, then it's a 1. And basically 8-bit, it's like everything that you do in this 8-bit architecture, like typically is, you know, like within 8 bits. So like a series of 8 digits that are either 0 or 1. And like that's, you have to work within that when you like look in memory in your game, or like define your like colors for like a color palette.
Yeah, I had no idea that it was that few bits. Like I thought bit was like something larger.
Oh yeah, no, like that's so like 8 bits, the biggest number that you can get is 255, and that's actually why like in Pac-Man, like the kill screen, I don't know if anyone has like, basically like if you're really good at Pac-Man or most like old school arcade games that were also 8-bit, like once you hit like the 255th level, like the screen flips out because it's like there is no bigger number.
Wow.
So that's actually why you only have like up to 255.
I never knew this.
Like things that you can do.
When we work on the like SNES, the thing that's called 2A03, which is the 3-note structure and then the noise, so like 2 pulses, the 1 triangle and the 1 noise, so all that is just like 8 bits.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, I don't know exactly what the layout is, but I'd venture a guess that like each of those channels has its own set of like 8 bits that are determining it, if that makes any sense.
Oh, yeah, probably like volume and pitch and timbre. I don't know. I don't know if timbre would be specified in something like that, but whatever.
Yeah, kind of. I guess like that goes a little bit like more behind the scenes into like
something we can really answer from the top of our heads.
Yeah, because like, you know how like at least on the original 2A03 chip, which is like the default sound chip that came with the NES back in the day, the like for the 2 pulse channels, which are like the beep boops that you hear, the music, typically not used for bass, so it's like the melody part. So it's like the part in the Mario theme song that's like going like you can change the timbre of that, and what that is actually is like just changing. Man, this is like getting really nerdy. But it's like it's changing the width of the pulse, and like it's, man, this is complicated. I can explain it, but I don't know if that's like interesting. Like, do people want to hear that?
Do we want to just make this into like an episode and move on somewhere else?
Yeah, I think that's probably a good call, because we'd be here all day.
We'd be here all day, and I don't think anybody listening would understand a word, honestly.
Yeah, I forget like how. I don't know if you ever heard the term like inside baseball, or like shop talk or like jargon. Like, I forget how much stuff that you like that there is under the hood, I guess, when it comes to like chiptune and like
and just sort of everything. We had a choice. I didn't write this. I wrote for James Baldwin. I'm Not Your Negro, but we watched a bunch of movies for history class after the APs, because after APs nobody cares. And during Forrest Gump, I like ended up talking about. I ended up telling the teacher, I noticed when I was watching Forrest Gump that, like, if you don't know things about history and you don't see things, it's still entertaining, but, like, you don't realize what's going on at all.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I watched it when I was a little kid, and then I took AP US History now, and, like, I can appreciate it so much more because, like, I actually know what's going on under the hood. I guess that's just kind of, like, what we're encountering now.
Yeah, I totally agree. Like, I find that often when I like revisit like cartoons that I watched as a kid, you know, obviously you watch, I don't know about obviously, but for me at least, like I enjoyed cartoons for like a whole host of reasons. Like, it was cool to see pictures moving on screen, like you know, I enjoyed the action element and like, you know, the story to a certain extent, but like for some of these cartoons, there were a lot of like really adult jokes that like went way over my head as a kid, and now I'm like,
oh my God.
Which is, I guess, a little bit different, but kind of similar in terms of like
you're going in a totally different direction, but it's wonderful.
Anyway, moving on.
You're totally right, though. on my end, like, at least, I don't know, like, I'm looking at kids' shows, like, I don't know, you know, I know you make a lot of Steven Universe tunes, and I know that I appreciate a lot more of that after having a great understanding of, like, mental health and some of the, like, low-key things that they allude to with the way that the gems are and act, larger things that go on in just life that I'm sure I wouldn't have picked up on at all when I was little.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, maybe best not to get me started on Steven Universe, because I could like have an entire podcast about that.
Oh, totally. we're back.
Hello.
Triss
Welcome back.
Triss came up with a bunch of questions for us that we could answer so that you could get to know who we are beyond all that jargon that you heard in the first part that I'm sure it flew over my head a little bit. I'm not gonna lie.
Sorry, I'm such a nerd. Yeah, so I do have a list. The notepad file is actually called Questions for Cass.
Oh.
So it is appropriately titled.
I'll see if I can
but-
come up with any good questions for you. I'm sure I will. I'm very curious.
Sweet. Yeah, so first question is, what was your first video game?
Oh, well, I don't know because I'm sure I was like tiny. I think I had a leap pad. Do you know what that is?
Oh my god, yeah, I do.
I think my first game was probably like some weird Dora game, and it was like I would play as Diego and explore
Nice.
my very first game. And I know that after that I did a lot of Pokemon games.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I might as well hear what you have to say too.
Yeah, I guess pretty similarly. I've been playing games since I can remember, so I don't know exactly which one was the first one. I remember, I think the first, game... No, I know for a fact, the first game system... Well, actually, now I don't know. It was either a Game Boy Color or the N64. I know that I received both of those at some point. So, I definitely remember being, 4 or 5 and playing Mario 64.
Yeah, I played that on Nintendo. That's fun.
Yeah, it's a great game. In terms of music, it obviously had a lot of great music. Bob on Battlefield is one of the best video game songs ever. And yeah, also Bowser's theme from that game is really good.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Dire Dire Docks. So I have a lot of memories of the music from that game.
I'm gonna just low key figure out who made a cover of that, but there was such a good cover of that by the Family Slackers.
Oh yeah, that's right. It played during one of my streams. We're talking the Bowser theme, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I'm the one who played that on your stream. I just
Oh yeah, probably.
I loved it so much.
Yeah, so good.
And it wasn't even technically impressive. It was just such a groove, you know?
Yeah. That's another thing that we can definitely get into at some point. But I'm a firm believer that just because something is simple does not mean that it's bad or not good. I think simplicity can be really impactful and good. And speaking of which, some of my other first games were the 16-bit era Super Nintendo RPGs.
It was
Which a lot
vinyl
of people-
cheese. Sorry. It was vinyl cheese.
Got it.
Yeah, go on.
A lot of people consider that to be the golden era of Squaresoft before it became Square Enix. So Chrono Trigger, Final Fantasies 4 and 6, which to me were 2 and 3. Yeah, those were some of my earliest memories. Oh, and Super Mario RPG.
Oh, okay.
And Mega Man X.
Yeah.
I had this entire library that I inherited from my cousins. So I was kind of spoiled when it came to first video games. I had a lot of great exposure.
Is one of your questions what games do you like now, or what games have inspired you?
Yeah, I have a couple of questions like that.
Yeah. Oh,
it's
okay.
kind of split off.
So before, I think that could be a nice thing to go to next. But before that, I just wanted to say, today I had a musical day, didn't I? Was finally, I've been meaning to do this, looking into frequency ratios for chords and stuff, and I learned at least some of the frequency ratios for the major chord and stuff, and I was playing around with that, and I ended up basically just getting the American national anthem. And I was okay, I see.
A very harmonically stable song.
Oh yeah, games that inspire us. Do you want to go first, or?
I missed the question.
games do you like now, and maybe what games inspire you to write music?
Let's see. I mean, I still have a major soft spot for those games that I grew up with. I'll very frequently go back and like, play games that from my childhood, and especially like Super Nintendo games. Like, I've replayed Chrono Trigger probably more than any other game in my whole life. And so yeah, that's like one of, if not my like favorite game of all time. That one and like Final Fantasy VI are really special to me. And they both have amazing music, so it kind of ties in together. The Zelda series is another really big one. A Link to the Past is definitely like top 2 for me, but like Breath of the Wild was also amazing. It's like far and away my favorite like 3D Zelda game, and the music in that was like really minimal. But one thing that absolutely blew me away about that game, and it was such a tiny thing. But it's when you're flying around the mountain area, like when you're... I don't think it's officially called Death Mountain.
I don't think I've played this game, by the way, so you have to, like, describe it as if I don't know anything.
Got it. Yeah. Well, the important part is that you're, like, by a mountain. Okay. And it's like you're headed towards, like, the Goron area. I can't remember what it was. But yeah, it's like this big, like, mountain with a bunch of, like, volcanoes and, like, lava and stuff. And it's, like... kind of big and scary, but it's like not necessarily linked. Yeah, it's not linked to the final like conflict at all. But like as you're in that area, the music that plays is actually a reference to the original like Legend of Zelda NES, like the final dungeon area, which I'm pretty sure that one is Death Mountain. Or Spectacle Rock or something. I don't remember. But it's like dun 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 dun. And it's like it's really subtle in Breath of the Wild because all of the music is really subtle. But it's just like the piano playing that one little like riff. It's like dun 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 dun. And like once I realized what that was, I was like, yo. But yeah.
Do you mean like it takes that one dun 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 and it like expands on it basically for the entire? Or
like not even really expands on it, like it just kind of keeps playing that riff.
Yeah. You mean like bum 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 bum? Sorry.
Yeah, kind of like
bring
that.
It all the way back.
Yeah, but I thought that was a really cool. Like it's such a subtle shout out to like the franchise's roots, you know.
Oh yeah.
And like it took me a while to notice it, and I like do music all the time, so like I'm sure it went over the heads of a lot of more like casual music Zelda fans.
Certainly.
But yeah, like it felt like it was specifically there to like cater to people who love the music of Zelda. Which I thought was really cool.
This is totally another episode, but I have been thinking a lot about like representing metaphors and like trying to say things with music, because all you've got is like all you've got is notes and like little hits of psh, and it's really hard to actually like try and say anything about anything with that. And something that I'm like really trying to investigate is like, how do you translate a chiptune into like something that means more than simply the tune itself? And definitely one of the ways to do that is to just like allude to other music.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. But yeah, I think you're right. I think that's another episode because I'm already itching to get into that topic.
Totally. So you're talking about mountains. That's a great segue into one of the games that inspire me currently, because one of the games, because it's Celeste. Do you know this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't played it, but I've seen it and I hear it has really good music.
Yeah, it does. The composer, I know her name. The composer is Lumena-tan, and she talks a lot about using like games as a venue for like getting things across and like assisting the game. And like when you hear her talking about specific tracks that she wrote, like you can really tell that she's keeping in mind what's going on in the game. Again, like how you represent things, the thing that I'm looking into. Mm-hmm. And honestly, like it's just also like such a wonderful track, and I can like kind of even like see some of, I don't know Lena obviously,
mm-hmm.
but like there's definitely like a touch of identity in there.
Yeah, like I think you can definitely say a lot with like just 3 voice channels and like some noise.
So what was your next question?
Well, the very next question was, what's your favorite video game?
Oh, that.
And then follow-ups like song, character, genre. So you can answer that if you want, or we can move on.
I
since we've
suppose.
talked
Well,
about video
like
games.
Celsa's up there. I really like Portal.
Ooh, Portal's a good one.
Especially Portal 2. I tried playing Portal 1. This is such a sad story. I bought Portal 1 on my PC and I started playing it, and I came up to the, what's it called? The companion cube.
Yeah.
The one with the heart on it. And when I killed that companion cube, I was so I haven't picked it up since.
Yeah. No, yeah, that's a tough mission. Like,
Number 1 hardest puzzle. Didn't just rack my brain, it racked my heart.
yeah, right.
What about you?
Oh man. I mean, there's so many great games. Like, I'm such an indecisive person.
Yeah. Me too.
Like,
until recently.
I always have to like try and wiggle my way into like well, it depends. But like, you know, cards on the table, like absolutely have to choose. I'd probably go with, oh, it's so hard. Yeah, I'd probably go with Chrono Trigger because it has so much like replay value, and such like excellent music, and like I love all the characters.
I don't really know anything about Chrono Trigger, surprisingly. I need to look into that.
Yeah, highly recommend. A lot of people have a lot of really strong feelings about it. So like, some people are like absolute purists and they're like, you have to play it on the original hardware. But personally, I think one of the best versions of it is the one for DS. Just because like I feel like there's a lot of quality of life things that have been added in, and there's also like a neat like story epilogue that isn't in any of the other versions. But yeah, I mean, like, you can't really go wrong if you're playing Chrono Trigger. Definitely recommend it.
Totally. I guess before we move on, just real quick, I play a lot of Overwatch, just by the way.
Oh yeah.
Like a lot. Not as much as my friends who play Overwatch who are like on 24/7, but like I find time, and it's probably like the game I play the most because it's a very like social game, at least on my end.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people play it super competitively and solo, but I love just like hanging out with people who I can't hang out with every day.
Yeah, definitely.
So that's just a source of bonding. Feel free to join me, or I can join you, especially since summer's here. Today's my first day off of school. Hooray!
Woo! Yeah, I'd love to. I hope that the like intercontinental lag or cross-continent lag wouldn't be too bad. Yeah, like I haven't played Overwatch in a while, but I really love it. Like I think it's a really special game. Like in terms of like representation, like there's such a wide variety of characters of like different like backgrounds and like body types, and like, it's got something for everyone, you know, or maybe not everyone quite yet, but like it's definitely it has like one of the most diverse and like fun rosters of any, like far and away of any shooter that I know of, except maybe like Fortnite, but I've never played Fortnite, so I guess that's
there's this point. Actually, I literally played Fortnite like yesterday for the first time.
Oh really?
Yeah. So like I don't really know that much about it. So the mechanics is that when you play, you end up being like a random gender and a random race. I at least heard that there was actually a lot of backlash against it, which was weird. I thought that was weird because people were like, "Hey, I don't identify with a black woman, so I think I should be able to like play," which I think is kind of like slightly ridiculous, just because.
Yeah, like
does it have to be said?
I don't know, like I definitely think it's like a complicated issue, but not one to like get angry about per se. Like I think it's cool that like it almost forces you to get outside your comfort zone and like not worry about what you look like so much. I'm all about like character customization, and like I really like that was added to like the later Pokemon games where you could like get a haircut and take your hat off and like change your clothes. Yeah, but I've never played Fortnite, so I don't know. It might not be that big of a deal.
It really doesn't feel like a big deal when I played it. At least it felt like everything around it.
Do you have a favorite video game song?
Oh, I really like the music from Persona 5.
Yeah, Persona 5 has an amazing soundtrack. So your current favorite like game song, Persona 5 soundtrack?
I really, yeah, totally. No, I'm really like, Celeste. I haven't mentioned Undertale because that's such a basic like chiptune. But I feel
like in our community, it's really easy to be like, oh, Undertale, haha, everyone loves it. But like, I think, it's been a couple years since it came out, and like, I don't think it's as mainstream as it once was.
Yeah. And it's definitely not mainstream just in general.
Yeah, that's fair. That's another one of those games that has like a ton of references that like I think a lot of people maybe didn't catch because they didn't grow up with the same games as Toby Fox.
I suppose. I
did.
I definitely didn't get all the references. And I just know that like, yeah, it sounded so basic to me when I said it, but like thinking about it now, like nobody in my class knows what Undertale is. Like,
yeah, it's like it's mainstream in like the gamer culture, but yeah, that's not all culture. Surprisingly,
yeah.
It's getting there, I think.
That's why we had to like try and define chiptune in the first third of this video.
Yeah.
Even though
I guess for like a very quick overview of Undertale, see what I did there.
Oh yeah.
It was an indie game that came out in like 2015-ish. I think it was like October 2015, and it's really good. It's on Steam. I think it's like $10 or something. You should definitely go buy it and play it. Don't read anything about it because
yeah. No, everything you have to spoil it in order to say anything about it, honestly.
Exactly. Yeah. Just like go in completely like uninfluenced as possible. Mm-hmm. Like try not to look too deep into it and just experience it. It's an experience for sure. But yeah, it's really good. I like it.
Yeah.
A lot of people really like it. A lot of people really don't like it. But
the only caveat would be if you're really into like super cool graphics and like it's no God of War. It's it's pixelated. It's supposed to look.
Yeah, it's like a stylized thing. As are a lot of the games that we talked about. I kind of take for granted that everyone knows what Chrono Trigger is, but I realized that game is like over 20 years old now.
Yeah.
Like that's oh god. But yeah, like that was like 4 console generations ago, maybe even more. So yeah, it's like pixel art, it's tiny little characters. It's like not quite turn-based combat, but it's similar. Sort of like, but not really. Pokemon. I feel like that one's pretty mainstream. People know about that.
Yeah.
Okay, what kind of music do you like? Like,
that's too
in addition
broad.
to chiptune, I guess.
I honestly love everything. And when people ask me, is your favorite music chiptune? I'm like, no, that just represents me in a lot of ways. And should I talk about that? I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm a STEM student. Like, I do science, technology, English, and math in school. So, like, when I was, like, starting out music, I didn't totally know music. Obviously, I don't really have a wonderful understanding of music theory. And it's gotten a lot better since I started. But basically, because of my background, I've never had a music class. Like,
oh, wow.
Yeah, maybe next year.
That kind of makes me sad, yeah.
I know, but I've learned so much on my own. So, like, literally, my understanding of music is tinkering with technology, and chiptune is that, pretty much. You're learning how to do things. Like, I understand sound as waveforms with, the characterization of the wave decides what things sound like. So, when I picked up Family Tracker, which is the thing that I use to make music, I was
music
able
making tool.
I was able to approach Family Tracker a lot better than I'm sure even like established musicians would be able to, because I had a really strong like understanding of waveforms, and I could like and technology, so I could like approach the thing in a way that like, oh, this makes the wave do this and this makes the wave do this, and this sounds good. I'm learning how to do notes. I don't know.
Yeah, it's definitely like has a lot of like programming elements that like other, you know, like music making software doesn't necessarily have.
What was the question again?
What kind of music do you like?
Oh, okay. I'm gonna turn that over to you. I mean, I like all sorts of music. I've yet to find a genre that I hate, so that'd be an interesting exploration. What about you?
I mean, same. Like, I grew up on a very, very eclectic, like variety of music. So like, I have an appreciation for most, if not all, types of music. Yeah, in terms of music that I like, I guess the more like mainstream stuff, like I really like, I guess people call it like oldies, like the sort of like Motown sound, like the Temptations and like Diana Ross and Supremes.
Got it.
And I'm also like a big fan of like, I don't know, music that my mom like partied to when she was younger. Like I heard a lot of that growing up. So like, she's a big fan of Prince, so like I'm a big fan of Prince, and
Yeah.
yeah, so like music like that, huh?
Oh, I was sort of like that too. At least until recently, like I've just explored myself. But basically, like when people ask me about, hey, what music do you like? I don't know. I guess I like what my mom likes. I wouldn't say that,
Yeah.
but you know, I would just like list off things that my mom
Exactly.
listens to.
Yeah, but there's also like a huge part of me, like I'm actually like a really big metalhead.
Ooh.
Like I love like hard rock and like heavy metal, especially like I have a big soft spot for like the classics.
Got
So
it.
like your Black Sabbaths, your Iron Maidens, as well as some of the newer stuff. Like I recently, within like the last year, got pretty into like Mastodon, just stuff that you can really just like scream and like bang your head to, which I think like a lot of people maybe wouldn't expect given my personality. Like I feel like I'm a pretty like laid back person and like very, I don't know, like nice and
It's kind of like
usually
that.
pretty shy.
In my experience, it's basically been that way for everybody who I've met that like told me they were a metalhead. I was like, I had no idea. Like, have you seen a Gretzko?
Yes,
Yeah.
she is me. I am her. We are one person.
Oh my god. Just okay. For those of you who don't know, Gretzko is about like a really cute red panda who has to deal with workplace issues, etc. But when she goes home, she just listens to metal and like karaoke's to metal all day and complains about like her job in the most extreme way. And it feels like everybody, I don't know, like anybody can be in a Gretzko, because everybody who I have met that told me they were a metalhead, I had no idea they were a metalhead.
Yeah, it's one of those things like, yeah, I usually like save that till I get to know someone to talk about it, because like, I don't know, like it's always kind of had this like this stigma, right? It's like, oh, it's Satan worship music, or like it's so aggressive and violent, but like it's also just beautiful and cathartic and fun to like thrash around sometimes. I feel like this one is pretty straightforward. How long have you been making chiptune?
Ooh, I have no idea. No,
Fair enough.
I'm gonna think about this. Okay, I think I started. I'm in such a weird school situation, so I can't like pick a grade. I have to do math after that.
Right.
I know that I was. I think I was doing chiptune kind of just like before high school. I'm going to guess and just say like 4 years or something like that. Probably a little later. I know that. Did I tell you about like how I was found basically by Lumen?
No.
Oh, okay. I might have. Anyways, Lumen is the leader of something called Real Family Tracker Hours, which is just a huge group of people who write chiptune. Not enormous, not so big that it's overwhelming, but it's big enough that it's still like a thing. I was basically on Tumblr and I was making little chips, and I would post them on Tumblr, and they weren't really that great. They were musically, they sounded great, but they didn't really use Family Tracker except for like the very basic tools. Lumen basically went into my DMs, just slid right in there, and was like, "Hey, you want to get better?" And I didn't really know what they meant at all. So I was just like, "Hey, I like your channel. I like your Tumblr. What?" And, like, I need more enthusiasm. That's what Lumen said. I need more enthusiasm. And I just went.
That's an extremely Lumen thing to say.
So I just did like all caps, slightly misspelled things, and she was like, "Okay, you're in. Here you go."
Nice.
Wonderful. You?
Yeah. So I didn't start posting things until about 3-ish years ago. But I like had been fiddling around with like Family Tracker since about 2013. Oh no, I got a phone call. I thought I told you to be quiet. Oh, it's been more than an hour. That's why.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Anyway, rewinding. I had been like messing around with Family Tracker since about like 2013, and yeah, like I started my YouTube channel in 2015, summer 2015, and like started posting stuff to SoundCloud. I've since kind of migrated to YouTube.
Okay.
I would say probably coming up on like 5 years. That's nuts.
I think I'm something like that. So we've been. I thought you were doing a lot longer than me for some reason. I don't know.
Well, I guess like I've been making music for a lot longer than that. But specifically chiptune, it's been about like 5 years.
Oh, okay.
Let's see. How did you first hear about / learn about Family Tracker?
Oh, I don't remember what caused me to do it. I think at some point I was just searching like make 8-bit music on Google or something. And I don't know what led me to it, but I just found Family Tracker and I went on it, and I was pretty terrible at it, but you know, here I am.
I think it was pretty similar. Like, I wanted to learn how to make 8-bit music, or it may have been somebody. I don't remember the name of the person. I guess I could look it up, but the somebody did like a chiptune like NES cover of Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon, like the entire album.
Oh.
I was like blown away by it. It was so good. And like in the description of I found it on YouTube. So in the description of each like video, the author was like made in Family Tracker or something like that. And I was like, "Oh, what is this?" And then I watched a bunch of YouTube tutorials and like installed it and never looked back. What was the first song you covered? I'm gonna edit that to be like first song you covered in Family Tracker, or like first song you created in Family Tracker.
Yeah, so the first thing that I uploaded to Tumblr, because I don't remember the first thing I covered, that was too long ago, and most of it was just experimentation with the software, was the Gravity Falls theme.
Oh, nice. That's a good one.
which was a good show. Yeah.
Yeah.
I really liked it. I think it's cool that the people who made it were like, all right, well, this story seems finished, so we're gonna end it here, instead of just trying to milk it as much as they could.
Yeah.
Which was.
I really admire people who do that. So the first song that I ever like covered or created was the temple theme from Zelda 2. I think the subtitle is Adventure of Link. That's one of those games that a lot of people probably haven't played. However, if you've played Super Smash Brothers, particularly like Melee onward, the Hyrule Temple theme, that's the song. So it's the like da dun 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 na 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 na. So yeah, that was the first one that I ever covered. It was like, in hindsight, Now I know how to do things that I had to do in that song way more like efficiently.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, but yeah, that was the first one that I covered, but I never posted it anywhere. I just have it in my like on my hard drive. But the first song that I ever posted was the Sailor Moon theme, which is one of my all-time favorite songs, like ever. But it's definitely also like top 10 like anime openings / cartoon openings because I'm much more familiar with the English version than the Japanese version, but both are excellent. Do you make other kinds of music or play any other instruments?
Well, as I said before, I play bass, and I'm starting to learn how to do the keys, but I am not a very fast music reader. Like, I can read everything on the staff. That's come in handy when I try to cover music sometimes. Except more recently I've been doing it from ear, because that's just faster.
Yeah.
I can't really read music that quickly in the classic like staff setup, and I play everything in C major or a mode that correlates with that. Basically. So that's where I am. Bass, I'm much better. I can hold a groove. I can do jazz blocking.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
When did you start playing bass?
I think it was sometime before I started taking chiptune seriously. This is embarrassing, but not embarrassing because it's perfectly great. Yeah. I think I was inspired to start playing bass because my sister was really into Guitar Hero, and I would fill in bass, and I thought the bass sounded so much like so cool, and I didn't even know it like existed.
Nice.
I'm gonna be honest, yeah. I knew there were low notes, but I didn't know like it was an instrument or whatever. I don't know. I didn't know music.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair.
So I was like, all right. My mom wanted us to play music when we were little, and I didn't really care. So I was like, I could play guitar, and I wasn't really into it. And then I learned that a bass guitar existed, and I liked the way it sounded and everything like that. I know you played guitar. No harsh feelings.
No worries. I like stringed instruments of all types, really.
Do you play anything else?
Yeah, so I think my longest running instrument has definitely been guitar. I could get pretentious on you and say that I've been singing since forever, but I'm not that great of a singer, so I'm not going to do that.
Me too.
Like, I think I'm good, but I don't think I'm like amazing or anything. Yeah, so guitar, I do like playing bass. Like, I can manage on keyboard, but like I'm not by any means like a trained pianist or anything. In high school band, I played the clarinet very briefly, and then trumpet, and like I did percussion. So like I was on cymbals and bass drums particularly. I played the recorder in middle school. But yeah, definitely like my primary instrument, I would say, is like guitar. I've been playing since like, like 2005-ish, 2004, 2005. So it's been quite a while.
Okay.
What's your favorite color?
Oh, that changes. Very recently, I've been very into pastel colors, which is different.
For sure, pastel colors are great.
I guess I like different shades of yellow and red. That's a vague but honest answer.
Yeah, that's fair.
You?
Yeah, I'm also very like.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't have like a super duper favorite color that I'd pick over every other color every time. Like, I feel like it's very a situational thing. But I generally like spooky colors and pink.
Yeah, spooky color.
So just think of like goth or like Halloween.
Yeah.
And then like super soft like pastel pink. And then that's me.
Definitely you as an Agretzko.
Yep.
Yeah, I can relate. I was so into purple last year.
Purple is an excellent color. Yeah, that definitely is under the umbrella of spooky colors for me. Yeah, I guess. I mean, I have some other questions, but like we can save.
Do you have a cat?
Did you hear that?
What was that?
There was like a child outside that just yelled at me.
We're keeping that in.
Yeah, I feel like that's a good place to end this section.
Obviously. All right. Thank you.
Yes.
All right. So, welcome back. I'm going to clap every time we start, aren't I?
It's not a bad idea.
Part 3, we are going to talk about chiptune today and different collab stuff that we've been doing more recently and groups that exist despite chiptune being traditionally kind of outdated, you know?
It's definitely like a niche genre for sure.
Yeah.
Since there's a lot of overlap
Yeah.
in the group, so we can start off with personal projects. So I can go ahead. I am Triss. I have a couple of different platforms. I'm primarily on YouTube, but I'm starting to explore Twitch. You can find me on pretty much every platform at TrissTunes, TrissTunes. I recently started doing Let's Plays, so I'm in the middle of a Pokemon Crystal playthrough, in particular a Nuzlocke run. Google what that means. And yeah, I also make chiptunes. I'm kind of trying to branch off and like do other styles of music as well. And those are my main things. So now Cass will tell you about what's going on.
Just basically like a ton of Discords. I don't know what it is. Like, I don't know anybody in my life who knows what Discord is, but somehow every like chiptune artist knows what Discord is. So that's wonderful. I'm also working on the soundtrack for a game that my friend is making, my friend Sharon, and I think it's going to be a Markiplier fan game, to be honest.
Nice.
A Markiplier fan game, but with really good music, and also really good art and gameplay, because Sharon's really good at that. I think we're going to have like another person. So it's going to be a good Markiplier fan game, which I'm sure is somewhat rare. I know that there are good ones, and it would be nice to be working on something other than a Markiplier fan game, but I also love the people I'm working with, which is basically just Sharon.
Sweet.
Yeah. And what else? Just a lot of personal stuff. Like, I think I want to come out with an album, but I'm realizing now that it's just easier to come out with lots of singles.
Yeah.
And it doesn't seem like anybody uses albums anymore, like full albums. Maybe I'll just combine my singles into an album like I once did, once upon a time.
Yeah.
Just a lot of self-learning, because again, I'm not super music savvy person. I'm actually taking that as an advantage, because as I said, I'm going into like more of the physics realm, and it really sucks that Family Tracker doesn't seem to have this, but I want to make some music using ratios and see what that has to offer, which is a little bit unconventional, but
yeah,
that's something I want to figure out. Oh yeah, and I'm also part of a band. How did I forget to mention this?
Cass!
It's a kind of a low-key band. We haven't even finished recording our first song, but we're called The Imposters, and we're looking for a drummer. If anybody lives in New York and is interested in drumming for a rock band, it's kind of like classic rock stuff. Inspirations like I guess actually, you know what? I'm gonna not mention inspirations. It's a rock band, and whoever wants to join, if there's anybody, everybody's going to be bringing their own inspirations to the table. Yeah, we have people who are like into Jimi Hendrix, like Arctic Monkeys, which only kind of mesh together, but honestly, we're finding our sound, so that's wonderful. I'm not going to plug in my social media and everything. I believe my Twitter is at Cassidy NB or Cassidy ENBY, but otherwise my links are mostly a mess, and I can do this another time.
Yeah, Cass will have their stuff together by next episode.
One day.
Did you want to tell the wonderful listeners about our collaboration groups?
Of course. So Triss and I were part of 3 groups, I believe, together. Real Family Trackers, the Family Slackers, and Elite Bit Agents.
There's definitely a lot of overlap between each of the groups, but the main like curator / leader of each group is different. And there's typically different like focuses, but each group has a bunch of really awesome contributors and members. So definitely go check them out. Again, that's Real Family Tracker Hours, Elite Bit Agents, and the Family Slackers. You can find them on Twitter, YouTube, SoundCloud, and I believe Bandcamp.
Yeah, some of them you can't find on Bandcamp, specifically Real Family Tracker Hours, because Lumen, they're a bit worried about getting stuff removed.
The cover
because
issue.
you can't find it on Bandcamp. Long story short. It's just a lot of chiptune stuff. Just a lot of people making a lot of chiptune.
Yeah. I forgot what the last thing I said was. What to expect next time? Did we talk about that yet?
Oh.
I don't think so.
No, but I guess
okay, cool.
I would like to talk about Passion a little bit.
Sure. Go ahead.
Passion is a cover that Triss and I both worked on for the Family Slackers, and I'm really happy with what came out. I posted it on my YouTube channel. It's my only video. And find the Family Slackers on SoundCloud or Bandcamp, and if you look at their most recent album, which at this time is called Critical Bits, you'll be able to find Cass and Triss, Nobody's Home, in parentheses, Kingdom Hearts, and it's a cover of a song from Kingdom Hearts 2, but they also play it in some of their other games. I knew it from the complicated title. It's like something days, like 300 something days.
Oh,
you know what I'm talking about?
Days over 2, yeah.
Yeah. That plays at the beginning of that song, and I had this friend, we would just like say the entire intro together. It was like a pitiful hot list, mindlessly collecting hots, and we just say it at the same time and like creep out people in our school by just like sounding like devil twins.
Nice.
It was great. But yeah, that's when the song plays, at least in my experience, and I know it also plays at the start of Kingdom Hearts 2, and it's just a really good song. And at the end. It's like a nice pop thing from Japan, written by someone.
Utada Hikaru.
Thank you. Great singer. Yeah, is there anything you wanted to add? I wrote a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff in my YouTube video, so I mean, if you want to find me on like
sorry, you can finish your plug and then I'll...
No, totally. Just YouTube is Cass Adams. That's pretty much it. It would be hard to find me. Cass Adams, try like Kingdom Hearts. And what were you going to say?
Yeah, in terms of stuff I wanted to add, I also had a great time working together. It was the first time I would ever like directly collab with someone on a single song. So that was a really fun experience. Yeah, I love that song. Kingdom, I grew up with Kingdom Hearts to a certain extent. It was really really important to my like adolescence. So that song is like very meaningful to me, as I'm sure it is to a lot of people. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Train. Yeah, go check it out. It's really good. Also, check out the rest of Critical Bits and all of the Family Slackers work. Everyone there is super talented, and I think you'll like it.
It's true though. Like, I'm impressed by everybody on that channel. Like, if they're not really good at the technical aspect of Family Tracker, they're really good at like the music theory aspect, or just like everybody has something wonderful to offer, and it all like kind of sounds the same from an outsider's perspective, but when you're actually like in there, it'd be really fun if we had a game that we could play one day, and like some other podcast day where it's just like, all right, guess who wrote this song?
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like everyone has their sort of like signature techniques and things that like makes it clear who did what.
I'm still finding mine though, because like a lot of my tracks sound really different, because I'm like, whoa, this new style, I'm gonna try it out, or I just discovered this whole new way to write music, and like that happens every time I write a song, and it's great and also not so great because I don't have I'll figure it out.
It's versatility. It's a feature, not a bug.
Yeah. Thanks. So next time, I'm pretty sure we're going to have a guest speaker, but we need to figure out who that is.
Yeah, so next time, look forward to mystery guest speaker. More than likely somebody from one of our collectives, I guess you can call them.
Yeah, one of those three groups we were talking about.
Yeah.
And we're going to...
And generally, this podcast is going to just be, like, deep dives into different chiptune topics.
Yeah,
like...
I think the next few episodes are going to be a lot more specific, because we really wanted to introduce the podcast and introduce ourselves and just introduce the frame of what chiptune is today in the most general way possible for everybody. And in the next episode, we're definitely going to narrow down on a more particular topic, most likely a topic that whoever the guest artist is going to be a little bit more specialized in. Maybe they'll get to choose it. Probably just something that we'll be able to go on and on about that's not so vague as what we were talking about today, because I came up with a lot of specific anecdotes, but like the general topics, I don't know if you learned a ton. I hope you did. I hope you learned a lot, especially if you don't know what chiptune is,
learning experience for sure. But we hope you enjoyed this trip down chiptune lane. And we hope to have you join us next time.
Wonderful. Yeah, I'm saying that a lot. Wonderful. It's a good vocabulary to have. Wonderful. Just saying wonderful.
Oh, wonderful. Yeah, it's a great word.